take you along the refit of Freebirds, an 18-cell 60. She partially sank in Japan during COVID and grounded on a beach. This year the owner decided to bring her back to life. During several months she was prepared to sail to Thailand. We put an external plywood patch over the damaged area, built a temporary rudder, put a new engine in and a lot more. We then sailed her over 4,000 nautical miles, mostly against wind, to start her major refit. Welcome back to another weekly update, this time with big changes. If you've been following along this channel, you've been probably as curious as I am, hopefully, since there is no cabin top here. That has been upside down, sitting on the strong back for the last couple weeks, and it sits now back on. While this is not a complete new picture, this is actually what we modeled up, so we already knew how that would look like. You saw that in previous videos, but now let me take you in, because this is going to be the new perspective and the whole reason this change was done. Together with the strong back, the cabin top must be some 300 kilos. We got most of the weight with our setup with the lines and pulleys, and had a lot of manpower just to move and get the cabin top in the right angles. And once the cabin top was in position, we marked where we would have to get the primer off and where the cabin top would be laminated to the bulkhead, and also we had to adapt the bulkhead slightly. It's already quite cool here in the cockpit area. You can imagine with the new height here that this is going to be much roomier than it was before, and yeah, also will give the opportunity to have stuff hanging in here, have some handrails maybe, or give laundry a place to be. So that's really cool. The helm station here will have to be raised accordingly to get the new view. That's a bit blocked now, but from here without the strong back I would see both bows again. But now let's go in since that is actually the coolest part about it. I still have to bend a bit because of the entry itself, but inside here I have plenty of air above me, and also when I start walking forward, this is going to be more or less, that was the line where the seat started, the old one, and the new one will be somewhere here. So where I'm standing here, that's actually the last place to stand, and I'm still at full standing height, so that's really cool. Also the reference, the sink that was here, that you couldn't stand for previously, and that's pretty much the line now where I can stand, with being 180 just about. And yeah, so structurally the only thing missing now is a pillar in the middle. What you can see here, that's the mast step itself. That was all massive wood, but it had several intrusions in it. There was a cable run it, and there was a lot of filler, so there was a really weird area. So we took that part of it out, and that's now with high density foam. And also all of this wood, it was not bonded to the in any way. Well, it was glued, but that glue came off the bulkhead itself. So you see already where it's taken off the paint to make a lamination over all of this, to have not all the pressure just pointing down into the floor, but actually distributed onto here. It's not a lot that goes in the back. You see where the center is of the mast, but it still will give some stability to it. And just in line with it, behind, there will be another pillar that goes all the way to the carbon reinforcement underneath here, and so just to give the stability for this whole beam. I already stood on it, and it has a bit of flex, but it's insanely stiff already now. But yeah, just to have this the protection for the window, and also when there's more weight than just one person on it, to give extra safety here. That will run a pillar down here where then also the window can sit on, so that the entire window then also has a place to sit which will also make the window much stronger for wave impact and so on. And here we will have to build out the deck. I already made a template for that. I can show you later in a second. Basically an arch that sits here, and the whole sitting area will come a bit further back. And then the other structural part will be in this corner here. Since the carbon now is just ending here and sits only on the fiberglass currently, and also the window will need a place to be supported. It will run from the side. It will run somewhere down here, so there needs to be a structural element pointing down onto here, and where then it meets the deck, so the window can sit in there. And ideally it is about that 12 centimeter wide to give the whole strength for the cabin top there. And so this little corner here will actually be enclosed, so we have the opportunity from outside to put some steps in it that will be you won't be able to see them from the side. There will be just negatives in here, and then hopefully we'll be able to cut some big windows in here. There's maybe a hatch coming on top, whatever. And the lights also came out nice. They are in the right position, which is good. And then the whole cable run ends up in here, which may look a bit random at the moment, but once this the helm station is raised, it will actually block this, so you won't be able to see it, and it will go in, and then we can just make the cable run here, and somewhere like it was before, go through the bulkhead and have some controls in here or just somewhere else. But for sure it won't be visible in any way. All right, so that's for sure the biggest thing that happened this week. Cabin top is back on, and you may ask, why is not the back not on yet? The reason is this. This whole area had this all these penetrations from really high load hardware on it. So there were I cannot show you on the other side because it's gone too. There are all the clutches that come here, and the blocks to reroute the lines. And the deck here was in really poor condition. There was some cedar in it, but in more or less random spots. There was plywood that was completely rotten, which came through by the railing. So these screws that went back in here, they completely fucked that, and probably same to be expected on the other side. So underneath here is now a massive layup out of high density foam underneath the loads, or the high compression areas then, where you will tight on the hardware, and 5 to 8 layers of carbon. So like here there's 8 layers of carbon also there, and here where the pillar is. So this is ready from the outside. It has glass on the outside, and from the inside it is now just ready to receive those layups. So that's going to be the next thing, to make the mirror of that layup inside, and then this thing will be super beefy. It already now, if you walk on it, you feel it's heavier or stronger than on the other side, which has plywood and everything in it. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. This will give a lot of peace of mind. It's the new look. Obviously that wood will come off from the strong back. And it was also really nice how the cabin top sit like that. Obviously, because we used the old cabin top as a block, it just sat on perfectly. There was a tiny little gap, which I was happy though, because the bulkhead in the middle maybe was a little bit too high, but that gave a perfect gap to work in, to put the thickened epoxy in it, and then we put these canisters on just to press it down a little bit, and that was just super smooth. And the inside obviously needed a bit of work on it. That has been done yesterday. So the deck here would actually stand a bit proud because we just cut it vertically, and that's now basically shaped in the. So it will be just like one well, like one piece. So yeah, it's really cool. And last thing to show is the front locker that also got some love this week. Most importantly, not most importantly, but the biggest change here is this cutout. So before there was this hatch sitting on it, which it's a nice big hatch. You get sunlight and everything in it, but there's absolutely no need to have sunlight in there or ventilation during the day or whatever, because it's really just a gear storage. And it will look much nicer to get a flush hatch, and that is just the deck. So the idea is to make this hatch even bigger. You see the outline here in black. That's probably going to be the end size of it. That's not cut yet because we can use the deck as a template to build the new hatch already. Just build it bigger than it will actually be, but to get the shape and then cut it out. And there will be the ladder just as the original going down in here. There will be an inspection hatch probably behind there and in that corner. And there comes another hatch on top, just to cover that bulkhead, to get another watertight compartment in front of there. And otherwise, yeah, you're still filling and fairing in here. It's obviously not the nicest spot to work in. There's no more standing height in here, and yeah, it's just really cramped. So it's tough work, but it's starting to look really, really nice in here. All right, I'll repair as every week goes along, but you won't see much of the difference until the primer is on. That's actually also what we did, is we spray painted the both cabin top parts from the inside, and they're now sanded with 400 grit sandpaper, wet by hand, and they look already very, very nice. They have some small imperfections. Well, it's hard to see, that's just dust. But there are some small areas that, like, especially now with the light comes in, so they will probably need another bit of love before we put the top point on, but it already looks quite nice. All right, I think I talked a lot. There is another 3 weeks now, 3.5 weeks, till there will be a little Christmas break in December. And so this means we're gonna work full speed here and hoping to crack as many checks of our list. And I will keep you updated every week. All right, take care and have a beautiful one.